Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be talking about all the books I read in September. I had a great reading month. I had lots of 5-star rates. And just a great reading month all together, and that's all I'm gonna say. Let's get into this video. Please let me know your favorite book of the month that you have read this month, and yeah, let's just get into it. In total I read 20 books, but I can't hold them all, so I'm just gonna give up and let's talk about them. There were definitely some good cozy books, some good fall reads, a lot of thrillers, a lot of fantasy books, just a great mix with 5-star books, 4.5 stars, 4 stars. I think I only had like 2 3-star books, so pretty fantastic. And let's get into this. The first book I read was Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari Lapena. I don't know, but I bought this book in Canada and it is signed, and I love that so much. And that just really spoke to me that it's a new release, and I just really was in the mood to like read a quick and short thriller, and that was what it was. It was so entertaining. I couldn't stop reading it. It is basically about a missing child in this like calm neighborhood, you know, nothing ever happens, but then this child goes missing and the parents are the suspects, or especially the dad is the main suspect, but there are also like a lot other suspects as well. And oh my goodness, I loved it so much. It was so entertaining. The plot was totally got me. I was pretty shook with it, and yeah, I love the ending especially. And I feel like it was only like 320 pages, and so much plot in those 300 pages, and it was so entertaining. And I would 100% recommend this book for everyone, and I gave it 4 stars. Really good. Then I read one of my favorite books ever. I did a reread, and it was honestly so worth it and amazing, and a 10 out of 10. And that was Red, Red, Water Blue. It is one of my top 5 books of my life. Like, I genuinely am obsessed with this book so much. And yeah, I annotated it. I forgot the first 60 pages because I read those on my Kindle, and then I was like, yeah, let's annotate. So I need to do that soon. And yeah, I love this book so much. It's so entertaining, and I feel like so different because it's obviously the first son of the first female American president and the Prince of England, Henry, fall in love, and that is just so cool. And there's struggles they have to go through to be together, obviously, because they're obviously very high, well-known, popular people, and with a crown and stuff like that. There are a lot of struggles, and I personally love this book. And the quotes are one of the best like ever. Like, there are such great books in this book. Is that right? I don't know, but for example, one of the quotes is like, let me find a good quote. Anyways, I love this book so much. This is like part of my nerdy brain just loves this book, and all the politics as well. It's not boring at all. It's like a really long romance book, but I ate it up in 2 days and I could not put it down, and I've read it like 4 times already. I now have 3 different versions of the book around my room, so there's one missing. I need to get it. I really shouldn't though. Anyways, love this book so much. 5 stars, obviously. First 5-star book of the month. Then I read a book from my library, which was In a New York Minute. I started this book when I was in New York, which is so fun because it takes place in New York, and they really talk about New York, and I love a New York setting, and just seeing other places like the subway and everything about that is just so magical to me, and I loved it so much. Basically, this book is about a girl, and she meets this guy after she lost her job, and then her dress gets stuck in the subway doors, and so she's kind of standing there halfway naked, and this guy lends her his jacket, and he's like here you go, so you're not naked. And she's like, great, thank you. And that it gets documented and put on social media, and everybody starts talking about them and how cute they are and how they should be together. And they get this name like Subway Cuties because they met on the Q train. And from there it goes, they meet again, and it's just so sweet. And I love the main guy, he was so cute, and also the main girl. And there were so many different topics in this like quick 300-page romance as well, about her family, his life, mental health. It was really good, and I gave it 3.75 stars. And then I read the book that I disliked the most of this month, and that was The Co-Worker by Frida McFadden. It is her new release. It literally got like published a month ago, and I was so excited to read it because the premise looked really cool. And it's about this co-worker, and she's another co-worker, and that co-worker goes missing. And then the other co-worker is a suspect because she was kind of bullying the co-worker. I'm saying the co-worker because I don't remember any of the names, honestly. And it was just so boring. I was so bored out of my mind. And the way they were talking about this co-worker who went missing was just so horribly, because she was a little bit different, you know, maybe on the autism spectrum, even though it was never like said, but it was kind of giving those vibes. And it was just so sad, and I feel like the plot twist, it was so obvious. So I really did not like that one, and I gave it 2 stars. But I still like Frida McFadden, and I want to read more of her books, but that one was just not it, you know. And then I read one of my books that has been on my TBR for such a long time. It's actually Criminal, and I'm really proud I finally read it, and that was Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This one was my 3rd Alice Feeney books, and I do enjoy her books. They're just not 100% my type of style, I don't know, but this one, it was really good. It was taking place on this like lone island, and when the water ebbs and flows, you can't reach this island. And her house with this like really old grandma, she's 80 years old, and all of her family comes to visit her for her 80th birthday. And then at midnight the grandma dies, and then suddenly a lot of other people in the family start dying, and you're like, what is going on? But I just didn't love the plot twist. It was first of all so obvious, and at the same time so out of reach, and like, what the fuck kind of thing. And I was like really kind of weirded out by it, and I just didn't love it. And I didn't love the writing, and at some point I was getting so bored because it has time zones between the now and then, when the granddaughters of the granddaughters, I don't think that's the name, is it? I don't know. Anyways, when they were growing up and one of them gets bullied and stuff like that, and it's just like, come on, like, we all know you had a terrible childhood. Like, we saw it, we know it, okay, let's, you know. And they just kept talking about it. It was so boring. So I didn't love it, but it was still entertaining and a quick read, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And it was definitely like very moody, perfect, like full vibes, I would say. And then I read Beach Read by Emily Henry again. And please, before I say anything else, please read this book in January, because the title is so misleading. It literally says Beach Read, but please read it in January, like the main character's name, because it talked so much about fall and winter and the beauty of winter and stuff like that. It was really making me miss winter. I feel like you kind of need that in winter, like a romanticized winter, because it just gets really dark and grey, you know. But otherwise, this book is so good. I reread that one, so I had 2 rereads, I think, this month. Yeah. And the first time I read it 2 years ago, I gave it 2 stars, and I did not like it. But this time around, I gave it 4 stars. That is very nice. Very happy about that, obviously. And it was just like very fun. I love Emily Henry's writing, how it's like kind of general fiction plus romance. And I love the bet that they had going on of like writing other genres, and the cult with his book. Love that. I wasn't like obsessed like other people are, but I still really liked it. There were some great quotes in it, and very fun and enjoyable. And Gus, I love Gus. I love him and his sarcastic side. And then I read Out on a Limb by Hannah Boehm Young, and oh my goodness, this was such a surprise for me because I honestly, like, it's a Kindle Unlimited book. I heard some people talk about it, I was in the mood, and so I read that. But oh my goodness, it was so good, and it totally took me by surprise of how much I actually loved that one, because I gave it 5 stars and I'm just obsessed with it. I want to get a physical copy so bad, but it is like 27 euros and I just can't, you know, I just can't spend so much money on that, so I'm not. But oh my goodness, I love it so much. It is so good. Please read this book. It is accidental pregnancy that happens in the first few chapters of after one night stand, but it is so much more. It is so beautiful, and the mental health rep, and both characters have disabilities, and that representation was so good and just amazing. Honestly, please read this book. Like, it is such a comfort book for me now. And Bo, I'm obsessed with Bo. Oh my god, and I already want to reread it so badly and like annotate it. I don't even have the physical copy of it, so anyways, that was fantastic. Then I listened to the audiobook of The Beach Club by Ellen Hilderbrand. I listened to that for like a long time, so that was just when I finished it in September, and I liked it, but I wasn't obsessed with it. Like, I read some better Ellen Hilderbrand books. I think this one was like one of her first one of her first books, so maybe that was why. But I just feel like there could have been more, and yeah, but I love the multiple POVs and everything like that. It was still so entertaining, and so many juicy secrets getting revealed and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you want like a last beach read kind of thing, I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, gave it 3 stars. Then I read the second and the third book of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I'm so happy I'm continuing the series, and just I love it so much at this point. I love like a long series where you get like really into the characters, and this one is 6 books long, so I'm obsessed. And also the books are long, so, and the text is teeny tiny, so it's long, but I love it so much. It's like, do you love the plot or do you just love the characters and like the whole atmosphere? I can't tell you actually, but I'm really obsessed with it, and I love it so much. And yeah, basically I can't really define what is what, but I gave both 4 stars. I'm really excited to continue with the series, but also now get into the Infernal Devices series, because I've heard such great things about these books as well. And it takes place in New York City, which is amazing, and I love that. This one actually didn't. This one took place somewhere else, so I'm gonna say. But yeah, I can't really talk about the plot, but oh my goodness, I'm obsessed. And I am very late to the game. Like, these were published in 2007 or something, but whatever. I'm just very happy to be reading them, and I love the world. Like, oh my goodness, vampire, werewolves, demons, warlocks, shadow hunters. I'm obsessed. And that's all. Also, Alec, I love you. You're my favorite. And also, he's in my favorite couple. And that's all I want to say. But that's not hard, because it's kind of the only one. Okay, this is so much better, honestly. I really like. Anyways, the next audiobook that I listened to was The American Roommate Experience by Elena Amas. And this is the second book to the Spanish Love Deception, and honestly, I just read it because it takes place in New York City, and I wanted to get it off my TBR list from Goodreads. So I listened to it, and it was definitely fun. I wouldn't recommend the audiobook just because the male voice was so weird and icky, and I just didn't love that. But yeah, maybe I just don't know the character as well. I love the female MC. She was so funny and nice and just very cool. And I loved how she was writing a book, like that was super entertaining and stuff. And I did enjoy the plot, how he wanted to help her find new plot ideas for her book, and though they went on like romantic dates, but I just felt like there could have been more, and I don't know, I just wasn't obsessed with the book, but equally it's just an audiobook, so whatever. But I gave it 3 stars and it was very fun. Then I read The Last Word, which was definitely not fun and lighthearted. It was very thrilling and intimidating and scary, that's the word, because it's about a girl who writes a review on a book, on a thriller, and the author comes for her because he's like, nah, I can't take this criticism, I'm a white man, I can't. So yeah, it's very scary. The plot twist kind of got me, mostly 90% I would say, and it was very scary because I would say 90% of the thrillers, the bad thing has already happened. For example, when he's lying, like the girl already went missing and you're just trying to discover what happened. But in this one, like you could really see like him coming at her with like hammer or something, so that was very different, but very entertaining, I would say. Crazy, scary, I don't know, but yeah, that's on that. Very cool though, very cool. And I gave that one 4 stars. Then I read The Renegades, and oh my goodness, I love this book so much. It was so good. I love the characters. I love the plot where it's like about superheroes because they all have superpowers, and it's kind of like the renegades, which are like the good people kind of, versus the anarchists, and who are like kind of villains and trying to overthrow the renegades and how they rule the world. But so interesting. I loved it because the female main character is part of the anarchists, so she's like a villain, but then the guy is one of the renegades, but you get both of their POVs, so you can't really tell like which is actually the good and which are the bad guys. And it was so good, and I'm excited to see where he goes in the future and stuff like that. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I just wish there would have been a little tiny bit more like action scenes, I would say. Otherwise, I really loved it, and I gave it 4.5 stars just because I love it, and it did remind me of Marvel a lot, and I love Marvel so much. So really good book. Then I listened to the audiobook of Murder on the Orient Express, and that was my first Agatha Christie book, and I would say it was okay. You know, it was fine. I think while I was listening to it, I remembered more and more about the movie that I watched a couple of years ago, and so I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I wasn't sure I remember correctly. So yes, but so I can't really tell if without watching the movie I would have guessed the plot twist or not. But I did guess it, so I just wanted to say that. But it was a really good one, I'd say. And yeah, I just got a little bit confused with the character. Like honestly, who is who? I have no clue. But I don't know if that was my fault or the books, but that's what I'm gonna say, and I gave it 3 stars. But it was just like super quick, so I don't know. I don't love quick, like super short books. Yeah, it might be. Anyways, next book, and that was one of my most anticipated releases. None of This Is True by Lisa Joel. Did I expect to give 5 stars? Kinda. Am I disappointed I didn't give it 5 stars? Kinda. Was it still very good? Yes, 100%. It was amazing. So good. So fun. And just entertaining the whole time. It's about a podcaster who interviews this woman. No. It's about 2 women, and they meet in this pub, and one of them is a podcaster and the other one goes up to the woman and is like, I want to change my life. Do you want to document it on your podcast? And the woman is like, sure, why not? Let's let's do that. And they do, and shit just goes down, and that's all I can say about it. Yeah, it was so sad. Oh my goodness, why am I always crying after Lisa Joy novel, like thriller? I bawled my eyes out at the end. So that's on that, but otherwise so good, and I gave it 4.5 stars, so really close to a 5-star. Then I kind of binged a lot of my library books, honestly, for a surprise. So I read In 5 Years by Rebecca Saleh on my train to meet a friend, and I bawled my eyes out at the end. Oh my goodness, it was so sad. Oh. And this one was 260 pages long, and I got so attached to these characters. Oh my god. Bella, I love you so much. And that's what I'm gonna say. It's about a woman with her boyfriend, and she just got her dream job. She gets engaged to her boyfriend. Everything is going well. She falls asleep, and it's 5 years later, and suddenly she's in bed with another man, another ring on her finger, and she's like, what happened in those 5 years? Like, where did it go wrong? How can I stop this from happening? Because I want to marry this guy, you know? And yeah, it's about the story, and then it goes 5 years in the future, and you see what kind of happens, how they're trying to stop it. And I would say it's more like literal fiction or general fiction about the woman and her headspace and kind of that kind of stuff, and about her friendship. Oh my goodness, so much is about the friendship with the best friend, and that was so beautiful to watch. Just 10 out of 10. And I gave that one 4 stars. 4 stars. Please read this book if you want to cry. Then I listened to the audiobook of My Lovely Wife, which was a very kind of different thriller. It was kind of out of the point of a serial killer, I guess. It's about this guy, and he's married to his wife, obviously, and they together kill women just for funsies, just because they're kind of like bored in their marriage. And that like happens in the first 10 pages of the book. Like, it's not a plot twist. And they also have this like completely other normal life where they have 2 children and normal jobs and stuff, and then on the sideline they kill women, which doesn't sound amazing, but it was honestly just super entertaining and crazy, and the plot was really good, and it totally got me. And yeah, a little bit morally grey, but that's fine, I guess. And I gave it 4 stars just for the funsies of it. And yeah, then I read One of Us Is Back by Karen McManus. I love her books, if you couldn't tell. I have read them all. Kind of want to do like an author ranking, but I don't know if that would be too interesting. Let me know if I should do that. But yeah, this one, I didn't have like the highest expectations. I just got on I just got the book from my library, so it's like, let's read it before I don't have it anymore. And I've read the other 2 books in the series, like One of Us Is Lying and One of Us Is Next, a couple of years ago, so I didn't really have a lot of knowledge what was going on, so I definitely needed to read parts of it, like read a summary of the other 2 books, which I would definitely recommend. But yeah, this one I would say was actually my favorite, just because of all the friends just came together to fight against this copycat or bad person, I guess, doing bad stuff in their town again after one of the friends disappears. And yeah, it was a summer after graduation for a few, and honestly really fun, and I did enjoy it a lot, and I gave it 4 stars. Surprisingly, honestly. But I love being back in this world, and I remember so much about the characters again, and that was very fun as well. And then the next book that I read was Ghosted by J.M. Dahua, just because I heard such great things about this book before, and it is about a single mother, and then her baby daddy gets back, and he's this like super famous actor who plays kind of like Tony Stark. I'd say he's Tony Stark. Let's put it like that, because I love Marvel, and that was who I was picturing him as. And it was so fun, that part, like him being a superhero in movies. And the daughter, who's 6 years old, I think, is super fun as well. And then it's still POV, like the now timeline and then the back timeline when they fell in love, because it's obviously second chance. And yeah, I did enjoy it. It was not my favorite romance book ever, but it was still very good, very emotional kind of, and yeah, very nice. And I give it 3.5 stars. And then the last book, and another 5-star read, was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I recently got this book, and then I had the audiobook, and I love Kristen Hanna's audiobooks because Julia Wieland narrates them, and she does a wonderful job. So I would definitely recommend listening to this book. But I also read parts of it, and especially the ending I read, and it was so beautiful. And I was listening to this while I was at the gym, and I almost cried at the gym listening to an audiobook. But yeah, this is about a woman who goes through the Great Depression in the US in 1930 in Texas, when there's this big drought going on for 6 years. Everybody's dying, everybody is hungering because there's no food anymore, everybody is super poor. And so because of that and other reasons, they don't know what to do. Should they stay in Texas, try to live it out, or should they move to California and try to live the American dream there with her family? You know, she has a family. And I'm really bad at explaining this book, but it is such an interesting story, especially because obviously I live in Germany, and I had never heard anything about this timeline in the US, and that was really interesting to learn about and read and just know more about, because I had no idea. I didn't even know like how long this drought was gonna go on. So I googled that and like saw some pictures of it, which I would definitely recommend. But yeah, this book was honestly just so great, and I love it. And it was so sad and so depressing because she just can't get a break, this woman Elsa, and she is so strong and trying to keep her family together, trying to get food on the table. Anyways, I just finished it this morning, so I'm very like still attached to this character, and I would just please read this book. It is so good. And yeah, kind of made me want to read more historical fiction, but I don't know. Anyways, really good. So please read this book, Out on a Limb and Red Rebel for this month, I'd say. And then a lot others, because there were just so many good ones in there, and I just had a lot of fun. Like, I remember reading and having a lot of fun this month, and that was so important. And yeah, that was it for this wrap up. I feel like I just talked for such a long time. My mouth is definitely very dry, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I see you in the next one. And goodbye. I love you guys so much. Hope I see you in the next one, and yeah.